In this session, I'd like to talk to you, perhaps on a more philosophical level, about what taking the first steps towards CRM is all about, what it can mean, and how to approach it such that you include the right stakeholders, you think about your key aims, and you get people focused on a benefits-driven conversation as you move towards and through the process of selecting a product, selecting a vendor and or a reseller, and mapping out an implementation. Because implementing CRM should be viewed in the context, most of the time, as a sort of digital transformation. It's a transformation that should help you adapt, improve, speed up, make more complete the front office side of your business, whether it's in sales or marketing or customer service, improving processes, improving data capture so that you really drive efficiencies and great outputs for both you as the business and, of course, for your customers. The authors of this quote on the screen here talk about this concept of digital transformation as not really about the technologies, because, of course, we hear day after day about blockchain this or transformative AI that. And the point they make is that digital transformation isn't really about the technologies themselves, right? The strength of these digital technologies stems from how companies integrate them into their business. So to transform it, the way they share data, share processes, the way they work. And that's a key story piece here and how we're going to proceed through the rest of this session. Grab yourself some notepaper and maybe a pen. Give pause for thought as I map out my beliefs on the way to approach a project like this. Give pause for thought about how you would approach it in your business and consider your stakeholders, your current challenges, your methods of implementing, and how you could improve or transform them themselves to help your own digital transformation using CRM. Here's a question to open it all up. Does your organization have a clear strategy that goes beyond just putting technology in for technology's sake? And I say that because certainly in my experience working with some Sage customers and some Sage resellers, partners of ours around the world, who come from a world of implementing accounting solutions, they are treated in a different way compared to what I believe CRM should be treated as an implementation project. What is this different way? Well, the different way is it's treated as a technology stack that's implemented and they walk away and it's completed. So my point to you really is CRM requires much more thinking than that. It requires a combination of a strategy, a culture, and a leadership to drive through this digital transformation. So let's talk about the strategy for a moment. Any good strategy should guide the business architecture. And by architecture, I mean technical architecture, the systems you choose to put in, but also the business architecture, the processes you have for managing end-to-end or go-to-market, the architecture you have to manage the way you take products from your warehouse to your customers. So your strategy should guide the choices you make here. And the architecture should drive the project of delivery. So in our case, it's putting the CRM system in. And then those should have a feedback loop where the project success or otherwise, hopefully success, will drive updates to thinking around your architecture. What do we do well? What did we miss? Where do we need adding? Where do we need removing? And then, of course, that should inform the strategy, your overall business strategy and the way you use technology to support it. And this should be an evolving, iterative loop. Strategy, guiding architecture, helping you drive the projects, and back it up it goes. So let's talk about strategy as a starting point. So questions to ask yourself that will help you derive a set of measurable benefits and help you derive a story to speak with your local business reseller of Sage CRM software, to think about how you attract business, how you sell your products and services, and how you look after customers. And if it's not already obvious from these boxes on the screen, this is what CRM can help you do. Through the marketing, sales, and service functional pieces in Sage CRM, the product, we can help you find new business, sell products and services, and look after your customers. A key piece of strategy that helps guide your business architecture here is having you think about how well you do these three things. And the reason I put those three up there to start with is partly because they form the basis of the product, but partly it should give you a better framework to consider how your CRM implementation should proceed. It's my firm belief that the CRM product shouldn't go in as one big bang approach. It should go in stages. Stages that are de-risking the project, for giving you bite-sized projects and bite-sized costs, and helping you define what measures of success you're looking for. But the idea is which bits of the business, marketing, sales, and service would it support, and how is it aligned to your return on investment? What value, what benefit do you expect to see returned to you? A key way of remembering this, in my experience of projects, is always, whenever you're considering what part of the business you're going to help and how you'll measure the benefit, a great way of remembering this and driving your thinking is to consider three dimensions. How will this project, that part of the product, increase revenue, avoid costs, or improve service? This is a very simplified view of every business, but I think it's a reasonable bench or a reasonable starting place to begin. If you consider, and if the project team considers at every point along the way when they're building up a list of requirements, the question should always be, how does this help me do one of these three things? Because if it doesn't do one of these three things, I would argue that it's probably not an important dimension within the product. If something, a rollout of a customer service functionality, a rollout of a sales opportunity pipeline, if it doesn't help you drive one of these three things, then it possibly shouldn't be in the project. I want you to take those ideas, increase revenue, avoid costs, and improve service, and I want you to think about this, view it through an additional lens. And this is all about how you consider your CRM approach. And it's in three layers. Are you implementing CRM at a strategic level, an operational level, or an analytical level? And any three of these are fine. And you may find that over time, over the life cycle of your implementation, you will do all of these, but at different points. And as you can see on the screen, strategic is this whole, how do we wrap it into the core of our business and our strategy and where we'll be in 5 years? While down the bottom, it could be you have a specific need to do something in a specific department to exploit an area, to fix a problem. And most things will be somewhere, most parts, most implementations will be somewhere in the middle here. So the question becomes, what is your focus in implementing CRM? What are you trying to do? Let me overlay that thinking, the three-leveled lens, the three-level thinking, with just some examples using functionality of the product. So in the product, we have something called campaign management, where you design marketing campaigns. It could solve an analytical need by putting in cloning of workflows, for example, so that every campaign is done the same sort of way. And that's a real analytical fix, and that will deliver avoiding costs possibly in time and money. Whereas if I roll up to the strategic view of that, perhaps you want to make sure that all your marketing campaigning is done in one place, so you can get one source of data, one lot of performance management, and then you can see right across the business what you're doing. Let's pick another one. Let's think about a 360-degree view, the oft quoted thing about CRM. Maybe at an analytical level, you want to do something that just gets your data quality improved because you know that you've got at the moment 10 spreadsheets with different information for the same person. So the analytical outcome would be all my data in one place. Whereas if you look at it strategically, it could be having everything in one place helps do much more bigger, deeper thinking on, say, the acquisition and retention of customers. Because all the data is in one place, that's a real interesting strategic outcome. I'll pick another one and I'll whip through a few more of these. Workflow could be used in an analytical level in that a department always does the same thing the same way. through to strategically, the whole business is running on workflows so that the processes, whatever they are and wherever they touch, are consistent and managed as such across the business. And I could go on, but the idea is I'm linking what sort of thinking you're doing, strategic, in this example, through to analytical, in this case, to dashboards. So that could be something else as well. And the idea is no matter which part of the product you're focusing on, sales, marketing, or service, that you also think about how the product is going to help you get a measurable return on investment at either an analytical level, a sales, strategic level, or anywhere in between, the operational level in the middle. And that helps you form the direction, the dimensions of the project you're going to implement. And remember, the business value you're trying to get to might cover all areas, but you really have to focus people on the story, because if you're not talking about the benefit story to the people you're talking to, then maybe it's the wrong person you're talking to, or the conversation isn't really covering the value. Because at the end of the project initiation, you really want everyone in the business, the stakeholders, to understand what you're doing with the product, why and when and where it's going to deliver the value you expect. Always remember, the aim is to increase revenue, avoid costs, or improve service. If you overlay that and then think about whether you're going for a strategic or an analytical or somewhere in the middle type of project or elements of the project, you will form realistic, measurable, beneficial dimensions to improve the delivery of your CRM project. These are the IRACAS drivers: increase revenue, avoid cost, improve service. Another way of looking at this, and it's sort of another way of engaging with your internal stakeholders, is to consider conversations with heads of department and people in the department around broad organizational goals to help you build out the strategy and help you focus on, well, what is it we need to solve? What do I mean by that? Well, consider your typical departments inside a company and think about the goals and challenges that maybe have developed over the years with the marketing, sales team, service teams, and start with some open questions. How do we do this? How do we go to market here? Why do we have this problem? And then drill in to get specific around, well, what is the issue with fulfilling product X to company Y? And develop some impact statements, dollars, pounds, euro, whatever. Because what I'm trying to get to here is if you identify, say, 10 problems in the marketing team, and each of them has a value, that will start to give you a prioritized list. One would hope you try and solve the problem with the biggest impact. And if you do that and circle back and verify with stakeholders and circle back and verify with other teams, that'll help you build a set of requirements and a set of measurable benefits that will help, if you view the bottom right logo there, help build on this idea of how would you increase revenue, avoid cost, or improve service. Doing this gives you a business need case and a way of managing risk and reward, whether it's in sales, marketing, or service, and whatever features you use in the Sage CRM product. So wrapping it up and going back to where we first started, the strength of technologies, including CRM, isn't the tech. It's how you integrate them to transform your business and how you work. From here, from this session, I hope you've got some ideas about the lenses through which you can view CRM projects and how you can measure and manage business return from them.